Hi, this is Rizwan and you're watching the Indian Weekender at 5. It's Friday and our latest print issue is out in the market. Pick it up from your nearest supermarkets, Indian grocery stores, temples, gurdwaras, restaurants, etc. You can also read our e-issue on our website and social media. It's quite a wet and windy evening and I have a lot of news to share with you before I end my work today. So, the news number 1. The first flight to repatriate stranded Indian nationals in New Zealand has arrived after a 16-hour journey from New Delhi at the Auckland airport this morning. The Air India flight AI-1306 under the Indian government's Vande Bharat mission has also brought in over 230 New Zealanders stranded in India. New Zealanders arriving on the inbound flight will be placed in a hotel under managed isolation by the Ministry of Health for 14 days. Air India's flight AI-1307 will depart from Auckland Airport on Sunday morning, June 7th at 4 a.m., taking stranded Indian nationals to New Delhi. The Vande Bharat mission has already seen more than 45,000 Indians return home from all over the world. 5 more flights have been scheduled from Auckland to take Indian nationals back home to 8 cities this month. Read the full story and regular updates on our website. News number 2. Minister for Trade and Export Growth David Parker says keeping supply lines and trade routes open, including with India, was critically important for ensuring medical supplies, including testing equipment, which was instrumental in government's response to COVID-19 health pandemic. Speaking at the Indian Weekender earlier this week, Minister Parker said he was impressed with the dynamism of Indian economy and the vastness of Indian market, and reiterated the belief that New Zealand's technology and products, particularly dairy and meat, can fulfill huge insatiable demand without jeopardizing the interests of any local producer. News number 3. The government has lowered the threshold for businesses wanting to apply for its extended wage subsidy scheme, Finance Minister Grant Robertson announced today. Businesses that have seen revenue drop by 40% because of COVID-19 will now be eligible. Originally, only businesses whose income have dropped by 50% due to the pandemic could apply. The government says the widened criteria means 40,000 more businesses will be eligible for the 8-week scheme from next week. Minister Robertson said the changes were made after feedback from the businesses. News number 4. Foreign Minister Winston Peter has announced the appointment of career diplomat David Pine as the new High Commissioner to India. Mr. Pine has previously served as New Zealand's High Commissioner to Malaysia and Brunei and Ambassador to the Philippines. He has also had postings in New York and Canberra. More recently, he was the chair of the Trade for All Advisory Board, announced by Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern in 2018. News number 5. New Zealand police released the name of 2 people who died in a glider crash at Mt Tauhara near Taupo last Sunday, May 31st. The deceased were identified as a pilot of the glider from Taupo, 78-year-old Anthony Frederick Hector Budd, and a 41-year-old Kiwi Indian woman Kusum Pasha of Wellington. Ms. Pasha had gone for a holiday with her husband to Taupo last weekend, where her husband had completed his trip on the glider and was waiting for his wife, Ms. Kusum Pasha, to return. Ms. Pasha's funeral was conducted as per Islamic rituals in the presence of community members and her husband on Tuesday, June 2nd in Wellington. News number 6. Police have laid murder charges on a 37-year-old man for the assault and death of a 26-year-old man killed in North Shore on Thursday, June 4th. The identity of the deceased has not been released officially as the next of kin is being informed of the news. But a reliable source to the Indian Weekender has revealed that the deceased was an international student from India who came to New Zealand 2 years ago to study at AUT. Police were called to a disturbance in a property on Akuranga Drive in Northcote on Thursday at around 5:30 p.m., where 2 individuals were assaulted. One of them suffered critical injuries and could not survive. The other person received minor injuries and the third person present there was arrested. And last but not the least, for the 14th day in a row, 0 cases have been reported today. The total confirmed cases remain 1,154, only 1 active case, no further recoveries and deaths reported. So these were the top news and headlines for today. For more updates, visit our website iwk.co.nz. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching and I'll be back next week on Indian Weekender at 5. Have a safe and happy weekend. This is Rizwan signing off.